Hey YouTube, Beamz here. Today I want to go over the build I use for all my heroic missions in the Division 2. I call it the Hunter's Heroic. The Hunter's Heroic is a Hunter's Fury, Memento, Lady Death build with the aim to plow through solo heroics or even clearing those pesky ads in raids. First I want to go over all of the pieces' attributes and the specifics of them. The mask is a Hunter's Fury mask, with weapon damage as its core attribute, and critical hit damage for its attributes, with a critical hit damage mod. The Memento Backpack has near gold rolled armor and weapon damage, with it running a critical hit damage mod. The chest piece brand you'll want to bring is a Grouper Sabre one. Mine's pretty shitty, but you'll be looking for one with weapon damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and obviously a critical hit damage mod, with the talent on the chest piece being Unbreakable. The last three pieces, the holster, gloves, and knee pads, are all Hunter's Fury pieces, with all of them running blue armor cores. Two of these pieces, the gloves and holster, run critical hit chance as its attributes, while the last one, in my case the knee pads, are running a critical hit damage as its attribute. Now how do these pieces interlock? Well, let me give you a rundown on each of the pieces' buffs. First up, the focus of the build, the Hunter's Fury. When using 3-piece Hunter's Fury, we gain plus 15% SMG and shotgun damage, 20% armor on kill, and 100% health on kill. Once the fourth piece is on the build, we gain the gear set's talent, Apex Predator. This causes enemies within 15 meters to receive a debuff, which amplifies my weapon damage against them by 20%. As well as killing a debuffed enemy, it disorientates the other enemies within a 5-meter radius of that death of that enemy. It also amplifies weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, which is able to stack up to 5 times. With all of the Apex Predator's buffs active, the build gains an additional 45% weapon damage and 25% weapon damage from all ranges, due to the first buff of Apex Predator only giving 20% weapon damage buff to enemies within 15 meters. So then how does Memento work? Well, when you're using Memento, enemies that you kill will drop a trophy. This trophy collected provides both a short and long-term buff, the first of which scales with the number of core attributes equipped and lasts 10 seconds. The short-term effect from the trophy gives the build plus 15% weapon damage due to its 3 red cores, and plus 40% bonus armor and plus 5% skill efficiency. The long-term effects gives the build an additional plus 1% weapon damage, plus 1% skill efficiency, and 0.1% armor regeneration, with the long-term effects stacking up to 30 stacks and lasts 300 seconds until the next trophy is picked up. With both of the short and long-term buffs from Memento procced, the build will gain an additional 45% weapon damage, plus 40% bonus armor, 35% skill efficiency, and 3% armor regeneration. That's a lot of survivability, but how could we add more? Well, the Unbreakable Talent. The Unbreakable Talent allows when our armor is depleted, we will gain 95% of that armor back, with a cooldown of 60 seconds in PVE. In PvP, Unbreakable only repairs approximately half the armor, but either way, using Unbreakable, we will gain even more survivability on top of that bonus armor from trophies collected from Memento. How could we add even more survivability and damage to this build? Well, by using the Firewall specialization, we will gain access to the Striker Ballistic shield, with extra mods to make the shield even better. The Striker shield gives the build a weapon buff. This weapon buff is 7% for each enemy in the front radius of the shield, meaning if there is 3 enemies in the shield's buff radius, the user will gain 21% bonus weapon damage. Now, from all of these buffs from the gear and specializations, how could we make the build even better? Well, there's one thing: Lady Death. Lady Death is amazing. When you gain a stack, it gives 1 bullet in the mag, 75% bonus damage. And if you don't know how to gain these stacks, you just have to move. You literally just have to move. You gain 4 stacks per second, or 8 stacks when sprinting, and the stacks fill the mag as it always equals 1 bullet. Also, when you kill an enemy, you gain 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. Theoretically, the Hunter's Heroic build, with all of these buffs active, caused the character gain a whopping 186% bonus damage. But realistically, you'll only be getting 130% bonus damage, as some of these buffs are very, how should I put this, situational. Like, you can't always get 3 people in the front of your shield to gain that 21% bonus damage. Now all those numbers and gear and all that stats are out of the way, how does the build really connect? Well, it's quite simple actually. The build is just aimed for higher damage outputs. By using Hunter's Fury and Memento, we gain large amounts of damage buffs, as stated before, and a debuff to the enemy to either shoot them or just build up our Lady Death stacks. Especially for the Lady Death stacks, since it deals 75% more damage than its raw damage with each of the stack. And once an enemy is killed, we don't only get a speed boost to push the enemies and get through the mission faster, but the speed boost decreases the time it takes you to pick up your trophies. And the trophies are really important in this build because they give you both short and long-term effects that directly affect your armor levels, your damage outputs, and your skill efficiency. This also takes advantage of the Lady Death being an SMG, and it also takes advantage of the Striker Shield. And if all else fails and our armor breaks, well, you have a second chance from Unbreakable. Before I conclude with today's video, a sub to the channel would be fantastic. It is also completely free and you can always change your mind later. And if you did enjoy today's video, give it a like rating because it will show it and will help YouTube to push this video into the algorithm. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.